Hello and welcome to the Get to College Planning webinar. During the next hour, our Get to College counselors will tell you what you need to know about college planning and financial aid. I'm Malia Dicker, and I'm the director of the Jackson Get to College Center. Get to College is a nonprofit program of the Woodward Hines Education Foundation. We have 3 centers around the state: Jackson, South Haven, and Ocean Springs, and we offer free services for college planning and financial aid to parents, students, and high schools around Mississippi. In our centers, we do personalized counseling appointments, so we can tell you when to apply for admissions and scholarships, or counsel you on essay writing and interviewing. We can help you fill out your FAFSA. And we also have launched some virtual services recently with webinars like these, and also video content with our presentations to parents and students. So I'll go ahead and let our presenters today introduce themselves. Danny, go ahead.
Hi, how are you guys doing? I'm so excited that you guys are attending our noon webinar, Lunch and Learn. My name is Danny Thompson. I'm Assistant Director of Outreach. So one of my main responsibilities is supporting your counselors, your local high school counselors. I go out sometimes face-to-face. I talk to parents and students. Other things I do is that we have, webinars like this, or we have online things that can help parents. But yeah, I'm so excited you guys are here today. Thanks.
And Stephen, go ahead.
And my name is Stephen Brown. I'm also the Assistant Director of Outreach for the Jackson Get to College Center. I do a good bit of in-office counseling, workshops at our local high schools, and also help coordinate ACT prep workshops throughout the school year.
All right, so just a few housekeeping details before we start. So we cannot see or hear you, but you can communicate with the counselors through the live chat. Use the Q&A for any questions on the material, and then we will get back to you by chat or answer it live. And then if you have any technical issues, you can use the chat. And we will be recording this webinar. We will share it after the presentation. If you have registered, we'll email that out and post it on our website. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So Danny, you can go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Guys, I'm going to share my screen with you guys right now. And look, I love giving special nuggets. And I know that I have probably some freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior parents. So I'm going to give you a special nugget right now. Give me 1 second to bring it up. Hopefully everyone can see my screen now. So here's my special nugget, guys. You will be surprised at how many students and parents, even counselors in the state of Mississippi, who don't know all the colleges and universities the state of Mississippi has to offer. So what I've given you now is a map of our state. In the red, you'll see that we have 8 public 4-year schools. In the blue, you'll see that we have 7 private schools. In the greenish, yellowish color, you'll see we have 15 community colleges. Now, guys, I know we're eager to jump on board and talk about how we're going to pay for college, but I wouldn't be doing you any justice if I didn't talk about what leads up to paying for college, which is admission, okay? So these are our local public 4-year, our 8 public 4-year universities. These are the admission requirements to get in. Now, if you graduate from your local Mississippi high school with a 3.2 GPA, that's in your college prep curriculum classes. Those are the classes you basically need to graduate from high school. You are eligible for our admission requirements in our state of Mississippi universities, okay? If you don't have a 3.2, but you have at least a 2.5, you're in the top 50% of your senior class, you make at least a 16, your student has met the admission requirements to get into our 8 public 4-year schools. Maybe I don't have a 2.5, Mr. Thompson. Okay, well, I have a 2.0 and an 18. You have met the requirements, guys. Now, when I say met the requirements, I often have to remind students, this means that a school would allow you to come in their classrooms and sit and take class. We haven't talked about money yet. My coworker, Stephen, will go in depth about that a little later, okay? So that was my special nugget I wanted to share with you guys. These are our admission requirements for our 8 public 4-year schools in the state of Mississippi. And kind of piggybacking off that, August the 1st, almost every one of our public 4-year private and public 4-year and private university have their application for admission online. And then our 15 community colleges, you might find a couple paper copies out and about right now, but typically after October 1st, they will have their application for admission online. All right, so let's keep moving. So these are things that I want to let you know that seniors need to be doing in the fall, okay? These are important things. College fairs. There are going to be a lot of college fairs going on around your local high schools right now. Make sure your seniors take advantage of it. Parents, sometimes they often get parents to come if the college fair is at, in the evening, 6 o'clock, 6:30. You take advantage of it too. But this is a perfect time for seniors to go out and meet your local college reps. Now, the biggest misconception I often see is that parents and students feel like these college reps are just people that are giving away school paraphernalia. That's the furthest thing from the truth. These people are your lifelines. So I need my students and my parents to go out. I want you guys to shake hands, meet people, get information. Look, this is the perfect time to find out why you think you should be attending that school. Maybe ask questions like, hey, why do you enjoy the school? What drew you to Mississippi State? What drew you to Ole Miss? What drew you to any college that you're actually talking about, okay? These are perfect examples of why college fairs are so important. Parents also want to say this. I often have to remind some parents, your students are going to college, not you. I know you want to ask a lot of questions, those parent questions like, how much does it cost? And, is my baby going to be safe? Those are great questions, but let your seniors introduce themselves. And seniors, once you introduce yourselves and you ask for cards, you get those cards I normally say within 2 weeks, you email that college rep and you reintroduce yourselves. Once again, these people are your lifelines, because you don't know how many students we deal with who all of a sudden get the bomb dropped on by mom and dad saying, hey, look, guys, I don't know if we really can afford this. Maybe we had a little extra money. We could swing it. And these college reps are the people that want to help you do it. But it's all about relationships. So your students should reintroduce themselves. Ask them, is it okay if parents and students email them or reach out to them for questions as the senior year prolongs? They love that type of stuff. Once you build that relationship, guys, they are more eager to go to bat for you. So for my senior and senior parents, take advantage of college fairs. Even they'll find some schools will just come set up outside of the cafeteria. Make sure your seniors are not just walking past them because, oh, that's not a school that I have on my list. You never know. So students, keep an open mind. Parents, keep an open mind, go out, meet and greet, and get stuff from these college fairs, especially cards from these college reps. Okay, well, talking about that, another thing that seniors need to be doing in the fall are your ACT or your SAT. Let me just start off by saying Mississippi is an ACT state. Majority of our students in the state take ACT. So when you go on a college's website, that's why you go to any college's website in Mississippi, you're going to see ACT language. Now, I've had the pleasure over the last couple of years of touring a lot of schools in the South, maybe even a little further East Coast, and some Midwest schools. I've even talked to some of the recruiters, and they often speak SAT language. Now, let me tell you what the ACT is. It's an achievement test. It is written on the 11th grade level. So majority of your seniors right now and your juniors have taken the coursework to do well on it. Now, we get a lot of freshman and sophomore parents who often ask, should my son or daughter be taking it? Look, one thing I always say is, I can't tell you how to spend your money and pay for an ACT. But what I would say is, my personal advice is, they don't have the coursework to do well on it yet. So if I'm allowing a 9th or 10th grader to take it, I'm going to make sure that I tell them, this is for you to get your feet wet and just get accustomed to the ACT. Once you start learning everything that's on it, then you'll do better. So don't worry about the scores as of right now. Let's just get accustomed to the things the ACT is going to ask me, okay? Now, the SAT has nothing to do with achievement. It's a standardized test. The SAT, I often say, it wants you to reason. It wants you to read, reason, and write. Now, parents, let me say this. If you have students who are phenomenal writers, maybe the SAT is the route you should go. But typically, like I said, in Mississippi, we find students take the ACT because they're taking on things they've already learned. The achievement test of math, English, science, and reading. Now, don't let either ACT or SAT language on any school's website discourage you from applying to that school, because what a lot of people don't know is that schools can actually convert. If you feel more comfortable taking the ACT, they can convert your score over to an SAT score, or SAT score over to an ACT score. So don't let that discourage you from applying to a school, okay? So once we get those ACT dates out, the ACT taken, or SAT taken, make sure you look on the website to find out the dates. actstudent.org will give you all the dates that you need. As far as college applications, our 4-year public and private, I just said that they went live August the 1st. So let's make sure we're doing that. Now, think about this. In the past, schools would tell you that they accepted 10,000 incoming freshmen. Well, all of a sudden, 10,000 incoming freshmen, of course, want to fill out college scholarship applications. So schools had to filter through 10,000 scholarship applications. Well, as they've evolved, things have gotten a little bit better. They're starting to work a little bit more efficient. So here's what they do. Typically, you cannot fill out a college scholarship application until after you've been accepted to that college. So once you fill out the application, I typically see that it takes around maybe 2, at the most 3 weeks for you to get a letter or email that says you've been accepted. Once you've been accepted, then you can go start filling out college scholarship applications, whether that's in-state or out-of-state. Just figure out what method the college uses. In Mississippi, I typically see that once you've been accepted, you can start filling out college scholarship applications, okay? With that being said, guys, there's a lot of different scholarships that you can fill out at numerous schools. They all have the certain criteria you have to meet. Well, some are a little bit more competitive than others. What does that mean? That means sometimes you have to give a little bit more than you would for other scholarships, meaning resumes. I often call resumes wow sheets of paper. These are things that make college reps and colleges go, wow, now I know why I come to this school every single year. These students are doing great. So with being said, with a resume, I often say, look, it's all about quality and not quantity. Schools want to get well-rounded students. And I often tell students, look, don't just go out and get involved in everything going on. Be passionate about something and show that you're dedicated to it. That impresses schools a lot more than just a whole bunch of quantity, okay? So with resumes, you're bragging on yourself. You're wowing people. That is what a resume is about. Now, at the end of this, or you can call our offices. We'll be more than happy to send you out some resume templates that we have. We get a lot of students who want to critique their resumes, so we send them 4 or 5. They look at our resume templates. They figure out which one is kind of their style. They critique their resumes to that, and it's perfect, okay? Now, also things that are due in the fall for seniors are outside scholarships, the FAFSA and state aid. Now, my coworker, Stephen, will go into depth about those a little bit later in the presentation, but just know that these things are all active in the fall. Outside scholarships, FAFSA, and state aid. And once again, Stephen will go in depth about those later, okay? The next thing, for my underclassmen, some schools allow 9th through 12th to attend college fairs. Some schools only allow juniors and seniors. Whatever the case may be at your local high school, make sure you know. Now, underclassmen, please go in, shake hands. It's never too early to get to know your local college rep. It's never too early to get their number and start talking about or asking questions. Or parents, this is a conversation piece you can have at home on the weekends while you're just hanging out, maybe over dinner. Things that you want to ask college reps, and that the best way you're going to get college reps information is at college fairs. My underclassmen, when you're going to these college fairs, you're meeting and greeting, make sure that you sign up for mailing lists. Believe it or not, some colleges determine how hard to pursue you on how much information you give them and how often you email them. It's basically you're showing interest, okay? Now, underclassmen, also with your high school resumes, here's what I would tell you about that. Stay involved. Once again, I'm going to repeat this again. Quality over quantity. But jot things down. If you're a freshman or a sophomore, start writing things down, all the great things you're doing, because here's a barrier that we often see students run into. When we start talking about high school resumes when they're a senior, and we ask them to write down all the things they've done from the 9th to the 12th grade, they really can't remember all those great things. But if you are more proactive than reactive, start writing those things down, jotting them down. Once you become a senior, all you're doing is transferring information from one sheet of paper to the next, and you're building that great wow sheet. So underclassmen, make sure you're jotting down. Parents, make sure you're helping them jot down wonderful things they're doing in school and outside of school, okay? One thing also that I would recommend underclassmen do is research colleges. Guys, things change with college every single day, especially the price of college. And students and parents often bump heads about how much it costs to go to college or what kind of programs a certain college will offer. This is the best way to kind of bond, is to do it. Also, let me go back to attend a college fair. Parents, you guys should attend the college fair also, because here's the deal. On paper, while you're researching these colleges, all these colleges might look like the same thing on paper. But there's one thing I always guarantee students and parents. If you spend no more than 30 minutes on a college campus, you will figure out if that college is the right fit for you or not, okay? You kind of figure out the culture. You'll kind of figure out the personality of the college. That makes or breaks it for you. So make sure you take advantage of that, okay? Now, for my spring semester, for my seniors, once again, local scholarships. My coworker Stephen will talk a little bit more about that in later in the presentation. But just make sure you're going to your counselor's office, or sometimes your teacher might get local scholarships. What I mean by local scholarships, local banks, local insurance agencies, local just private entities who want to help your seniors go to college. They will have private scholarships. You would be surprised at how many people tell us they offer local scholarships to their local high school seniors, and they never give that money out because seniors just are not willing to apply for local scholarships. And the reason behind that is a lot of local scholarships require students to write essays. And once they hear that word, parents' essays, it's like, you know what? My mom and dad can figure out how much I'm going to pay for the rest of college, which is crazy, but make sure they're taking advantage of it. Seniors, I know your fall semester of your senior year can be extremely busy. And I'm not saying that the spring semester won't be extremely busy, but sometimes things tend to slow down. Now, if I've applied to 3 or 4 schools, I don't know which one is 1, 2, or 1A or 1B. Maybe my campus visit kind of helps me reorganize my list. So in the spring, I would try to take advantage of local campus visits. Now, here's what I'll tell you. I get this question a lot. Should I go on my local senior day or my junior day when the college is going to roll out the red carpet for my entire school and all surrounding schools? I would tell you, yes, take advantage of that because you want to be impressed when you go to these schools. And when they're going with senior day or junior days, the school is going to roll out the red carpet for you and show you all the things they have to offer. That's great. But also I get, hey, well, should me and my buddies or me and my parents just go up there unannounced? Once again, I say, yes, you could take advantage of that too. That's when you actually see how people really interact when no one's on campus, when they have no special events. And that's when you see how people really, like the culture, the personality of the college and how people interact on everyday life. So try to take advantage of spring or even fall campus visits. I know what a lot of you are thinking. Well, you know what? We're so busy. We can go during spring break. We can go during the summer. Look, if that's the only time you can do it, I totally understand. But sometimes the campus is not as populated during the summer or spring break, of course, not spring break or Christmas holidays. So try to take advantage when the population is at its highest peak, okay? And that will really kind of show you the culture of a college. Financial aid packages, they come out for seniors. So once we've talked about financial aid, later on, my coworker Stephen will talk about it later on in this presentation. Financial aid packages will come out in the spring. That is when we basically sit down as a family, guys, and we decide which school is giving us the best opportunity to attend that college. And that's kind of a family decision most of the time. That's when parents sit down with students and they talk about it. This could be a lengthy conversation, okay? So make sure you're up for that. Also, May 1st deadlines. Most, I'm not saying everyone, but most 4-year public and private schools have a May 1st deadline. What that means is they're going to send out that financial aid package. They want you to go through it. Basically, it will detail how much it costs for your student to go there that year, their freshman year, how much they're given in scholarship, grant, loans, whatever. And they want you to either accept that overall financial aid package or decline it. Now, when I say that, I don't want to confuse you, but let me tell you, you can actually get a financial aid package, accept what you want of it, decline of what you don't want of it, but accept the overall financial aid package, okay? Accept, decline, but accept the overall, or accept, and accept the overall. You'll kind of see what I mean once you start receiving those. But like I said, majority of those schools want you to make that decision by May 1st deadline. Now, if I accept school A and I accept that for whole financial aid award package, common courtesy is to go back to the other 3 and just decline them. That lets them know you won't be attending in the fall. That frees up money for them to offer to other students. So once again, it's just common courtesy. You might want to meet that by the May 1st deadline. All right. Look, guys, I know I've always been told I talk fast. And sometimes I ramble. I understand that. This is the second time we're doing this. Just be patient with us. I appreciate it. But if you want to sit down and talk about any other thing with us, maybe go into detail about things we just talked about. Maybe once you hear about financial aid, maybe you want to talk more in depth about that. Maybe you want to hear about our ACT prep workshops. You can get on our websites. Our websites, we have 3 centers, like Malia said earlier. Get on our website, see when we offer ACT prep. I think all 3 of ours vary, but whichever one's closer to you, that might fit your schedule perfectly. But any question you have, you want to come in and talk one-on-one again, call your local or your closest Get to College center, make an appointment. We would love to have you guys in our office and talk about things, okay? Now, for our underclassmen, also, you're making campus visits. It's never too early to start seeing colleges. But one thing that I think underclassmen should take advantage of are internships, job shadowing, summer programs. I'll never forget having a young girl here saying she wanted to be a nurse. And I said, well, so you love giving shots and you love blood. And she was like, Mr. Thompson, I hate blood. I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't be a nurse. Nurses typically have to draw blood or see blood on an everyday basis. So when you do summer interns with people, they kind of expose you to that whole lifestyle of that job, with job shadowing, that can either make you more passionate about what you want to do, or sometimes it will let you know that you might need to search for another profession. Okay. Summer programs. A lot of colleges have summer programs. I like to think that a lot of schools want to help you make that transition from a high school senior to a college freshman as smooth as possible. Some have summer programs that you can take advantage of. Get on their websites. Also, this is another resource that local college reps will have more information about. This is another question, another way to build a relationship with a college rep to talk about or ask about their summer programs. Once again, my underclassmen, we just don't do it for seniors, we do it for underclassmen. If you want to come in and talk about different things as far as like your goals, the things you want, your timeline, a more in-depth timeline, more about financial aid, make an appointment at your local Get to College Center or the one that's closer to your high school. We would love to do one-on-one appointments with you, okay? For my underclassmen, please think about the ACT. Remember, it is written on the 11th grade level. My 9th graders, my 10th graders, if you're thinking about doing it, just remember, get your feet, parents, just remember to allow them to get their feet wet, but don't let them just think that it's paramount that they have to do well on it the first time they take it. All of our 3 centers offer ACT prep. Get on our website, see when our centers offer that ACT prep for our underclassmen. Sign up. Call, sign up, get on the website, sign up. We would love to help your students increase their ACT scores. All right. Now I'm going to pass it back over to Stephen. He's going to go in depth about financial aid. Guys, I really appreciate you taking the time out for our lunch and learn. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. So now it's time for us to talk about money. Okay. Once again, my name is Stephen Brown, Assistant Director of Outreach at Get to College. Now, for those of you who have been to college before already, and I hope y'all can see this screen, I think that picture of the calculator. Okay, we know that paying for college involves much more than just the cost of tuition. When you hear the word tuition, tuition means so that you can attend the college, okay, just for you to have classes, essentially. Okay, but besides just tuition, there are a lot of other costs. We have to pay for housing. We have to pay for meals. We have to have a parking decal if we want to park on campus. You're going to need shampoo. You're going to need toilet paper. There's tons of costs associated with going to college. Okay, so the word tuition only slightly matters. The word that you want to investigate more in the college planning process is what's called the cost of attendance. Okay. So that includes this. It's kind of an approximate of all those costs that you may incur per year to go to that school. So colleges have made it really easy. It's actually mandated just a few years ago. It was mandated that every college had to have something on their website called a net price calculator. And what this would do is give you a breakdown of those different costs that you may incur for the upcoming school year. Okay, and I'll kind of just give you a quick example of what one might look like. This is one from Mississippi State from just a year or two ago. So you say they give you the breakdown of the tuition, how much it would be roughly, and now the tuition is a little over $8,000. But I would just keep in contact with the school to find out what their current rates are. Then also your room and board. So those are the direct costs. But then these down here are kind of more so approximates. The personal costs, transportation, books and supplies. We know all these costs can add up. So really, if we're only planning for tuition, but then the actual cost to attend the school with everything included is more so, in the 20s, then you can see how that might put us at a disadvantage if we're not prepared. So I want to make sure this is clear. This is not meant to scare anybody or, make you think that college is just unaffordable and you're doomed. It's only so that you can come up with a good plan, okay? Because we want to get down to that zero balance. Now, once again, every college's website, on the search bar, on the college's homepage, you can type in net price calculator. Some may have a form where it just spits it up right out for you and gives you the breakdown, or some may actually ask you more information to give you a more accurate idea of what you would have to pay, like how many people in the household, what the household income is, how many students you have going to college that year. But I would definitely use that net price calculator in your college planning process. Once again, they're estimates, but it's just to help you get a big picture. But so, once again, I'm not saying all this stuff to say that you're doomed. We want to know how we can bring down those costs, and that's where financial aid comes in. Okay, and then there are 4 different types of financial aid, and we're going to cover all 4 of them and then recap some of the things that Dan has already covered with you. So the first type of financial aid is outside aid. So this is private scholarships. So Walmart, Nike, Coca-Cola, Regions Bank, all the businesses that you passed on your way to work today or that you've seen lately, they have to file taxes the same way that parents have to file taxes. And they can deduct it from their taxes when they do charitable contributions. So a lot of them choose to do that in the form of a scholarship. And you'd be surprised how many different scholarships are out there. Snickers used to have a scholarship where if you collected 100 Snicker wrappers between March and May of your senior year, you could win $1,000. Okay, Dr. Pepper has scholarships. Regions Bank every February has something called a Rising Forward Scholarship for an essay of 500 words or less. There's tons of different scholarships out there. And so I would definitely look for those. And you can find those definitely on some of your school's websites. They might have a link for seniors to find scholarship listings that are local and national. You can definitely look at local businesses. A lot of times fraternities and sororities, Rotary organizations, community organizations will have scholarships that students can apply for. So I really just keep an eye out for those. In addition to that, though, I'm also going to give you 3 websites, and you'll see these again at the end of this presentation. But one of them is fastweb.com, fastweb.com. Another is unigo.com, unigo.com. Another one is bigfuture.com. And all these websites, you will create a profile with your name, your email address, what you want to major in, hobbies, stuff like that. And they'll find scholarships that are tailored just to the student's profile and email them every day. Now, I'll give you a few warnings about these scholarships, okay? One, just keep in mind that if we have a school that we're trying to pay for, and let's say we have to come up with another $18,000 to $20,000, and we're trying to write essay scholarships to get those. Okay, just to be realistic, only about 13% of incoming freshmen are receiving some type of outside scholarship. So it's there to supplement some costs, but generally you won't see it be the majority of a student's financial aid. So I just wouldn't bank all my money on that. Another warning that I want to give you about outside scholarships, okay? Any scholarship, competition, or anything like that that is requiring you to pay a fee or any kind of registration fees for that scholarship, generally those wouldn't be the most reputable. Okay, so those websites I gave you, FastWeb, Unigo, and Big Future, all those have already filtered out those kind of scam scholarships. Okay, so just keep an eye out for those. We don't want to spend money to have to get scholarship money. Okay, but once again, that's just outside aid. That's only one type, and those do have rolling deadlines, so I would just keep an eye out for those. Okay, I'm going to continue on. The next type of financial aid is college aid. So this is money that's coming directly from the college. And we know about some of these scholarships like academic merit scholarships. So for your ACT score, for your GPA, different things like that. Schools, we know about those. But what I would do, though, is understand that not every school has the same scholarship. Not every school has the same scholarship. There are some community colleges locally that you can get full tuition with a 20. There's one that you can get full tuition with an 18, but then others might say you have to have a 25. So whatever school your student is interested in, make sure that they meet the scholarship requirements for that particular school as far as academic merit-based scholarships. Also with those, you want to make sure that you know was the last date that those schools will accept as far as ACTs. Let's say I wanted to send in my ACT score to get a scholarship. Well, some may say we won't accept an ACT score after December. Some may say we won't accept one after October. So whatever school it is, just make sure we know what the requirements are, but also what the deadlines are, so that we don't miss out on any money from these schools. But in addition to academic merit-based scholarships, you also have what are called leadership scholarships. So colleges want to know, what did you do besides go to class and go home for 4 years? Okay, I ran track. I was in the choir. I played in the band. I did community service. I was on student government. Okay, they want to know, what did you do the entire time you were in high school? And so Danny mentioned this earlier, but you have what he calls the wow sheet. You have your high school resume. It says, these are all the things that I've done. I was a well-rounded student. Not only did I excel academically, but I also gave a lot of my time to give back and just participate in extracurricular activities to be an entire package, basically, and not just a brain, okay? Best way to find out about those, talk to the recruiter at the school directly. But you see this next one on this list, Phi Theta Kappa. So some of you are familiar with that one. Not everybody is, okay? This is an awesome program. Now, Phi Theta Kappa is an honor society that's only available to students that start at a community college, okay? This is actually an international organization, but it's based in Jackson, Mississippi. So kudos to Mississippi for that. But Phi Theta Kappa, like I said, it's an honor society. So students that start at a community college and earn at least a 3.5 GPA and have 12 hours of college credit can be invited to join this organization, Phi Theta Kappa. This is the only one that I can think of off top of my head that that would have a registration fee to join. It has membership dues, but the payback, the benefits from it are awesome. Okay, and the Phi Theta Kappa scholarship depends on where you go after that. So you start off at a community college, earn at least a 3.5 GPA, 12 hours of college credit. When you transfer to a university, they have transfer scholarships. It can be anywhere from just a couple of $1,000s to some schools that their Phi Theta Kappa scholarship pays your tuition, your room, your meal plan, and gives you a book stipend. Okay, so this is an excellent idea for some students, because I mean, if we're going to take our classes at the community college to start off, of course, they're already going to be cheaper at the beginning. I finished 2 years at the community college with very little financial difficulty. Then when I started as a junior, I finished my last 2 years at a senior college. I'm way less in debt than I would be, going straight to a 4-year if I don't have a really competitive scholarship package. So, like I said, it just works out for some families. That's a great opportunity if you do choose to go the community college route. Even if, other than leadership scholarships and academic merit-based scholarships, schools even have what are called financial need-based scholarships. Okay, they have an idea. We already said through the net price calculator, you can find out an approximate amount of how much the school is going to cost with everything included. So that number, their cost of attendance, is set by the school. Okay. Well, when we complete what's called the FAFSA, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, the FAFSA is going to calculate your EFC, or your expected family contribution. So this is the amount, according to this calculator in this algorithm, of how much you should be able to put towards your student's education. Like I said, it's just a calculation, so don't freak out. All right, but the colleges can determine your financial need once they take that cost of attendance, subtract what your estimated family contribution is. What's left over is your financial need. So you have some schools that may not offer academic scholarships at all. For example, some highly selective schools don't offer academic scholarships, but they give huge scholarships based on financial need. So you never know what you might qualify for it. Just another reason, like Danny said, to still apply it to those schools that you think even may be out of your reach. Okay, we know about athletic scholarships if a school has those offered. If you're trying to get a scholarship for arts and music, they may have auditions that you have to do, or submitting a portfolio. But my point at the end of the day is schools have all types of money available to help your students pay for college. But the best way to find out about it is to talk to the school directly. Contact your local recruiter, and if you have difficulty in finding out who that person is, all you have to do is contact us at the Get to College Center, and we can put you in contact with those people. Okay, so I'm going to move on because I don't want to take up too much of your time. The third type of financial aid is federal aid, okay? And this is money coming from the federal government. It's only based on your household size and your family income, okay? And their application, like I said, the FAFSA, free application for federal student aid, it does not award you anything. It doesn't give you money. All the FAFSA does is determine your eligibility for federal aid and calculate your EFC, okay? Remember, this is just one type. All right, but this is how students can receive federal grants, how they can get work study if they want to have a job on campus, if they wanted to get student loans. And as I bring up student loans, I'm actually going to really briefly just kind of give you an overview. I don't want to go too in depth, but just give you an idea for dependent students. As a freshman, the maximum they're going to be eligible for as far as student loans is $5,500 in their name. Okay, so these first two lines you got up here, direct subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans. Once again, that will be in the students' names. And as you can see, as of today, that's a 4.45% interest rate. Okay, and so you would just want to keep an eye out for those interest rates because they fluctuate from year to year based on government regulations. Okay, that subsidized amount, that is interest free to the student as long as they're enrolled in college. Okay, the unsubsidized amount does accrue interest the entire time they're enrolled in college. Okay, and thereafter. All right, but like I said, it's at a 4.45% interest rate. So with these federal loans, the interest rate is still way, way lower than it would be if you went to get a private loan from a bank or some other source. Okay, then there's also the unsubsidized loans for graduates. Okay, which is at a 6% interest rate. So at that point, the student would be independent, and that loan would just be in their name as well. But then there's also what's called the PLUS loan, the parent loan for undergraduate students, and for graduate PLUS loans, where that interest rate is at a 7%. So schools will allow parents to borrow the remainder of that cost of attendance, whatever the student doesn't already have through their financial aid. And like I said, I won't go too in depth with that. We can, of course, answer questions later, or you can email us at info@gettocollege if you want more information about those loans and how to apply. But here's the magic date as far as federal financial aid is concerned. It's October 1st. October 1st, that's the date that the FAFSA becomes available for senior students. So once again, parents, if you're the parent of a senior and your student has filed the FAFSA before October 1st, that wasn't the right FAFSA, okay? That wasn't for their upcoming year as a freshman. Only after October 1st of their senior year can students apply for the FAFSA, free application for federal student aid, okay? And it's based on the previous year's taxes. So what I mean by that is if I have a student that's gonna be starting their freshman year in college in the fall of 2017, then the parents' taxes that will be used to complete the FAFSA will be their 2015 taxes, okay? If the student is starting in the fall of 2018, they'll be starting their college career in 2018. The FAFSA will be using the taxes from 2016. Okay, and this is kind of new. It's just a few years old, but we want to make sure that students are getting this stuff filled out correctly. So at the Get to College Center, we provide free FAFSA completion services, and of course, we have our 3 centers that Malia mentioned to you earlier in South Haven, Jackson, and Ocean Springs. But then we also can serve students throughout the state. One, through our virtual, we have resources to assist you virtually through screen sharing to help you complete it, or even at your local community colleges, we'll have some resources there where you can get the FAFSA completed. So it's not going to be overwhelming, and I know sometimes it can be a headache for parents if they try to do it on their own. That's what we're here for. Okay, so once again, October 1st is that magic date that the FAFSA opens every year for students to complete the FAFSA. Now, this is what I mentioned to you just a minute ago. I'm just giving you a visual so you can see it right in front of you, but determining your financial need, okay? Your expected family contribution, which is calculated by the FAFSA, and you have your cost of attendance, which is calculated by the net price calculator on the school's website. Once you subtract that expected family contribution, that's how we determine your financial need. So for example, if a student is attending a college where the cost of attendance is $20,000 and their expected family contribution is $21,000, they don't have any financial need. But if the cost of attendance is $69,000 and the student's family contribution is $21,000, we have a significant, display of financial need. So you never know what you might qualify for. That's why it's important for you to complete the FAFSA, whether or not you think you're going to receive a Pell Grant, okay? So when it comes to determining whose information do I use, okay? My kid has a job, so they file their own taxes, so they should be able to use their own information for the FAFSA. That's not exactly how it works. There are very strict criteria that will make a student, whether they're dependent or independent. So just some quick examples will be if a student is in a legal guardianship, they will be considered an independent student. If they have a child and they provide at least 51% of the support for that child, they will be considered an independent student. But it's not just an arbitrary process. And if you have questions about whether or not your student will be dependent or independent, the best thing for you to do is contact one of us at the Get to College Center at any one of the locations, or you can email us info@gettocollege, or call us at 601-321-5555, and we can definitely assist you with that. But like I said, to make it stress-free as possible, we're definitely there to help you throughout that process, okay? So that brings us to our fourth type of financial aid, okay? In the home stretch, okay? So it's Mississippi financial aid. So that's money coming from the state of Mississippi. It's only for Mississippi students who stay in state for college, all right? And it comes in 3 different programs. The first one is MTAG, Mississippi Tuition Assistance Grant. Mississippi Resident Tuition Assistance Grant. All right. All students need to get MTAG is a 15 on the ACT and a 2.5 GPA. Okay. There's no income requirement for MTAG. Okay. There's no income cap. As long as they have a 15 and a 2.5 GPA, they qualify for the Mississippi Tuition Assistance Grant, and that's $500 per year for the freshman year, $500 for the sophomore year, $1,000 as a junior, $1,000 as a senior. That's the maximum that you can get. The only way a student that meets those qualifications would not receive MTAG is if they are already receiving a Pell Grant. Oh, excuse me, a full Pell Grant. And a full Pell Grant at this time is $5,920. So they could possibly receive partial MTAG if they got a partial Pell. Just to give you an idea, let's say your student qualifies for $5,820 in the Pell Grant. Well, that means that they could get $100 in MTAG. Okay, but I would just still keep an eye out for those updates. So you can know exactly how much your student qualifies for. All right, then the next type is MESG, Mississippi Eminent Scholars Grant. The students have at least a 29 on the ACT and a 3.5 GPA, and they qualify for $2,500 from MESG. Like I said, it's a bit more competitive, but it's another grant from the state. Once again, there's no income requirement. Students that qualify for it and apply for it on time can receive that grant. Then there's also the HELP grant, the Higher Education Legislative Plan for Needy Students. Students from Mississippi that score at least a 20 on the ACT, have at least a 2.5 GPA. They meet the IHL required college prep curriculum, and they meet the income requirements. Those HELP students can receive full tuition and fees to any public school in the state of Mississippi. So whether that's a community college or one of our 8 four-year universities. If a student wants to attend a private university in the state, the HELP grant will pay up to the tuition of the closest public. So for example, if they wanted to go to Mississippi College, the HELP grant will pay up to the tuition of Jackson State, which is the closest university to Mississippi College. But like I said, all these 3 scholarships from the state of Mississippi are from one application. All right. And those students have to be enrolled in and earn at least 15 credit hours to receive state aid. Okay. They have to take at least 15 hours and stay enrolled and earn 15 credit hours to receive any of that aid. And students will also, this is kind of new, guys, but students can only receive aid from one of those state grant programs. So if they qualify for the HELP grant, they cannot also get MTAG. They can only get the larger of the 2, essentially. Okay. So, and all that information can be found at www.mississippi.edu/financial aid. Now, I'm going to speed up just a little bit because I know we don't have just a ton of time. Parents, you may see something sort of like this, an email like this from the State Financial Aid Office. Now, along with that information that your student submits on their application, there may be additional documentation that has to be sent in as well. Okay. If you see this email, don't panic. It doesn't mean that you haven't done everything you need to do, but I would definitely still investigate it to make sure that all the documentation is sent in. There's some information that comes directly from the student, and there's other information that has to be sent in from their high school counselor. The most important thing to take from this email, in addition to looking into your documents and seeing what you're missing, is this 4-digit state PIN that's generated from the State Financial Aid Office. Keep up with that number because that's going to tell you that's going to be your way to log in to the state grant website to see what you're missing. Okay. Now, once again, we just want to make sure we know about all these deadlines because they are coming quickly. For example, in the fall, once again, Danny already mentioned to you college applications. They have deadlines when the application, whether it's regular decision, early action, whether your student is applying to honors college, we want to make sure we know about those application deadlines and also the scholarship application deadlines. In addition to that, some schools may also, on the financial aid side, if your student's applying to a highly selective school, they may want you to send in what's called a CSS profile. So just be sure that you know about all the requirements for your student's financial aid package and for their admission. And also those outside scholarships have rolling deadlines. So just make sure you're keeping you know when those deadlines are coming up. With the FAFSA, like I said, the important dates to remember: October 1st, that's the date the FAFSA opens. And you want to make sure you meet the priority deadline for scholarships from each college. If you have questions about it, talk to the college directly. As far as state aid, once again, the state grant application opens on October 1st, the same day as the FAFSA does. You just want to make sure that you're cognizant of those deadlines. If your student is eligible for the HELP grant, the deadline to apply for it is March 31st, but you have to have all your documentation in by August 30th. So we want to make sure we're not missing any of these deadlines. Like I said, if you have questions, the best thing to do is either contact us at Get to College, talk to the school directly. Okay, for MTAG and MESG, those other scholarships, like I said, just always be cognizant of the deadlines that are coming up. Like I said, I'm moving faster because I know we're running out of time. But then also in the spring, we want to look out for those local scholarship deadlines that are coming up. Definitely visit the campus. Don't just trust the brochures. A lot of your student schools will allow them to have visit days. They allow seniors to get an excused absence to go visit the college campus. If you're not sure about it, talk to the counselor at your high school to find out exactly how many days your students get and what's the process to taking advantage of those. Also in the spring, your students will be receiving the final financial aid award package. So this is saying, okay, we got your ACT score, your scholarship application, your resume, we got everything we need, and this is how much we're offering you to come to this school, okay? And what I would do, honestly, is take all those different scholarship award letters, lay them side by side, and then decide as a family what's going to be the best value for us. Where are we getting the best bang for our buck? Okay. And like I said, those normally will come out in the spring, but just keep an eye out throughout the year. Make sure that the schools have already received everything they need. Don't wait on them. Don't just speculate about it. Talk to the school directly. Find out what they need from you. And then, of course, as Danny already mentioned, there's a May 1st deadline when you want to make sure that you let each school know, yes, I'm coming here, I'm not coming here, okay? Let them know where you're going. That's National Decision Day. And so I don't know if we have time to recap, but I made it really easy for you because I know you've got a lot of information. This may be a lot to write down, but I made it really easy. We've got a 10-step to-do list, okay? So seniors need to do everything on this list. The only thing that your students cannot do if they're not a senior is apply, and then number 9, the FAFSA and state grant. Those are only 2 things that they cannot do if they're not a senior. Okay, but apply. Make sure you're taking the ACT. Once again, we have additional ACT prep resources. Even if you're not in one of our center areas, we have ACT tips online that your students can watch on our YouTube page, or there are even some apps like ACT flashcards, ACT pocket prep. So there's tons and tons of resources, but I would really encourage you, if you can, to attend one of our workshops at one of our centers. Okay, high school resumes. If you need resume templates, all you have to do is send us an email. We can send you some. Talk to the recruiters, set up campus visits, job shadowing. Like I said, we're here to help you with any and everything that you can think of. And the last line is the FastWeb, Unigo, and Big Future. Those scholarship websites that I mentioned to you. So just thank you guys for your time. I know this has been a lot of information. I hope that it was helpful. We're Get to College of the Wilbur Hines Education Foundation. Our email, best way to reach us is the info@gettocollege.org. That's GET, the number 2, college.org, or you can call us at 601-321-5555. Thank you.
Danny, I think you had a few words to say before we wrap up.
Yeah, guys. I just want to say, Stephen and I do workshops all the time. We do it in front of 300 or 400 people, but it's a little different because we feed off your energy at schools and things like that. But with that being said, on here, we can't see your face and we can't feed off your energy. So we hope that you know that we're going to try to do the best that we can, and we're going to perfect this and become experts. So, because we're really excited about this series we're doing. With that being said, I want to just correct my colleague for 1 second. I think he was kind of hurrying up a little bit or rushing himself. And he said on the HELP grant, the documents are due by August 30th. It's actually April 30th. It's actually April 30th, okay? So just make sure you jot that down. The documents for the HELP grant are due by April 30th. And guys, once again, we really appreciate it. We're going to turn it over to Aaliyah to kind of close us out, and we hope to see you guys again, or you guys see us again.
Great, thanks, Danny. So we will email you the recording as well as a transcript of the Q&A, and we will also email you a feedback survey. So as Danny mentioned, this is a new webinar series, and so apologies for some of the audio. We'll get those glitches worked out, but also we want your ideas for future webinars and videos that would be helpful to you. So some of the webinars and the videos that we have in the works are things like who qualifies for financial aid, selective college admissions, ACT tips, and so on. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach us at info@gettocollege.org. And thank you for joining us today.